Apple hitting a new record high. This is Raymond James says they're boosting the price target on the stock to a street high of $280 based on strong iPhone sales estimates. It's our call of the day. The question is Apple ahead of itself in any way, given the move that it's had? And is this overly optimistic, or what do you think, Jim?
Look, I think that there was a story that no one thought could happen, which is that the 11, which I have, turned out to be a far different camera and a far different battery life than people thought. And I was at the Apple store.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a very positive way.
Yeah.
I was at the Apple store last week, and I got there at 8:30. They really couldn't take care of me until 9:30, and then I got out at, it's just the lines for this. I went there at night. I figured it would be an easy thing. My sources, and I have sources all over the country on this, indicate that this phone is selling far better than people thought. And you thought that you didn't have to, you had this luxury of waiting till 5G. And it turns out that you don't. And I think that Apple can tell a good near-term story. Now, I know a lot of people are skeptical about Apple TV. Rightly so. They don't have anywhere near the programming of a Netflix. But you know what? When you have the money that Apple has, can you really look at it statically? Look, if Apple wanted to go by CBS, they could get the NFL and the SEC. I mean, the right SEC or the wrong SEC,
well, I got
depending.
You.
And I just think that there's just a short-sightedness about what Apple can do when it comes to entertainment.
I don't think that really matters. I agree with you, but so far they haven't gone in as they should have, perhaps. Right? But that doesn't matter. And I do think it's ahead of itself, the stock.
You do?
Based upon the sales of the 11. But it doesn't matter either. I'm not selling anything.
Right.
Because I'm in 5G, and 5G will be the biggest upgrade cycle, in my view, that we've seen probably of any technology ever.
Total agreement.
You know, so that's why I'm in it. So if it comes down, frankly, I'd love it to come down. I'd buy a little more.
I like that thesis. I think it's a good thesis.
You?
Staying long. I'm staying with it. Listen, I've argued over the last month or so that the reason to be in Apple is because over the last year, there really is nothing that stands out on a singular basis as being a fundamental catalyst. I respect what you're saying about the 11, but just think of what this company has endured over the last 12 months.
But what do you have? What phone do you have?
I have the, I think that's a 10.
I urge you to go. I urge you to go tonight. It's open 24 hours.
But I'm going to wait for 5G.
The case looks like it's from the 5.
I will tell you, and this is the remarkable thing about the iPhone. Come on, you know me better than that. This is the remarkable thing.
It does, though.
The remarkable thing about Apple is the retention story. So
yes,
we just did the software upgrade. So the compatibility, let's say, with a Mac, frustrating for me.
Yes.
If you have an older Mac, what are you going to do? You're going to go out? You're going to switch? No. I looked at the Macs that I have. I have 3 of them. I said, okay, we're going to go out. We're going to buy new Macs. We're going to take our hardware and we are going to make it compatible with whatever the new software Apple is delivering.
Who's we? Like the collective we or the Terra Nova we?
The Terra Nova we, as well as all of those
sometimes can't tell
who are
retaining
retaining the products.
Retaining. Well, you're changing in your family that you only have 3 of them. Huh?
Unbelievable.
So the thing with Apple that maybe sometimes people have been frustrated with is that they don't do big splashy deals.
Right.
They did the Beats deal, and people screamed and yelled about it. It totally wasn't a big deal. It was a rounding error. It's a company that has so much money, they don't know what to do with it. So when you see them, for example, they pulled off this really stealth jiu-jitsu move with Apple Music. Not many people are aware, but last week they officially killed iTunes. They were able to pull that off surreptitiously without a lot of media fanfare. They just took the biggest music service on earth, completely cannibalized it with a subscription model away from purchasing songs. No one's saying anything, and they did it. And think about how many companies in history have been able to take a version of something that's the most popular in the world, bury it for the new thing. Netflix comes to mind. I can't think of many other examples. Apple is very good at things that don't get attention. And so with TV, when you actually look at the lineup that Netflix launched with, they had a handful of things they paid for, a handful of things they made themselves. It wasn't impressive. But you know what? To Joe's point about thinking statically or dynamically, it didn't matter what they started with. It's where they ultimately go. And could they buy a CBS? Sure. Could they also spend $10 billion without blinking and make all original content? Of course. They could do that too. It doesn't have to happen. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I wouldn't sleep on Apple's entertainment efforts. And yeah, it's not sexy to slowly develop something like Apple Music into a global competitor. But they have done this time and again. I really wouldn't want to be on the other side of that bet.
Not bad for a CEO who's terrible and for a company that doesn't innovate, huh?
I didn't say he's terrible. That's not what I said.
Yeah, you did.
I never said he was terrible. I said he's a terrible steward of capital. He's sitting there with his money earning nothing when he could have bought Netflix, when he could have bought other things, and he hasn't.
I know, but that's like
So was
straw
Belichick.
man
Belichick
argument.
was a bad
Stocks-
steward of
he's
capital.
very
Look how many
bad.
rings he's got.
He could have bought
very bad.
Bitcoin at
Belichick's not an
$100
innovator either.
Belichick's going out and made acquisitions.
He's not an innovator either. He just wins with what he has.
Well, you tell me where the innovation
He gets
is.
the job done. He does.
He wins with
Tell
what
me
he
where
has.
the innovation.
What,
in the
what
iPhone-
Josh
Hold
just
on,
said.
hold on.
No,
Tell me where the
you hold on.
innovation
What Josh
on the
just said
throne.
is a form of
Their
innovation. Yeah.
What's
Cares.
the innovation
Stock's
here?
up 50-some% year to
And I
date.
own
Here's the innovation. I have yet to see anyone
It's up
listen to other
100%.
folks.
You're
It's up
happy with
100%
good.
in 2 years.
You walk
good.
around with
Great.
I
Is that
walk around with
good?
these
I
white
like
things.
Is that good?
You guys walk around with white things in your ears.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like capitalizing.
At one point, that was like signifying you were a village idiot. I have white things in my ears.
is the new good.
Right.
I like
That's
Google,
good.
the Google glasses were embarrassing.
Google glasses, right?
But
Fail.
Apple did
I
it
have
right.
white things in my ears, like everyone else is white. Who ever thought that we could all walk down the street and say, "Hey, how you doing with the white things in your ears?" Nobody even cares.
I'm sorry. I'm going to
There's
be a
an
super fan
innovation.
from now on.
That's
Never
not
gonna look for
innovative.
upside. Where's the innovation? You haven't answered.
You know what, Jim just
these
How
said?
about the
Innovation.
how about the watch?
I
Another
love
sleeper.
the watch.
Another
I
sleeper.
love
agree
the
with the
watch.
I agree.
I love it. This is like Maxwell Smart. I mean, it's incredible. Next thing you'll come up with is a cone of silence, and you won't care about it.
The narrative is to own Apple and not to trade it. And you've said that a million times. And I think that today, for the people that were trying to trade it, you got moved out of that position now because it's moved above 230. We're in the
Sayonara,
240,
right?
240 area. And so it's like an investment. And so it's like, this is an investing show, and there's companies out there that you should have as a long-term investment. Apple seems to be a very good long-term investment and has been a good steward of clients' capital from a return generation standpoint. They haven't optimized, let's say, their cash on the balance sheet, but they've definitely, from a return standpoint, been wonderful, for investors long-term.
You made the key point, though. Maybe Steve Jobs would have been a horrible CEO in this moment, because think about what he would have to do. Kowtow to both Beijing and Trump. Can you picture
And Hollywood.
in a million years Steve Jobs threading the needle in the way that Tim Cook has? He literally is in a position where Chinese carriers are the lifeline for his business in the second biggest economy in the world. And they manufacture a lot of the phones there. He has to live with that reality while simultaneously convincing Mad Dog Trump that he's going to hire more people and build more things here. And he's done it incredibly well. Like, could you imagine Steve Jobs pulling that off? I really can't. So maybe what was needed right now is not this beacon of innovation. Maybe it's competence and logistical savvy and calmness, and that is what Tim Cook has brought to the table. That's why he's added about $600 billion in market cap to this company's stock in the last few years.
Amen.
It's not been perfect, okay? And no CEO is ever going to be perfect, right? But let's not forget
I don't think perfect's a benchmark. You're right. No CEO is
Right,
ever going to.
exactly. It's not my benchmark. But I'm just saying that
No, but
there are other things that he could have
you've
bought
annihilated
Instagram.
this guy for no reason whatsoever.
Wow.
I don't think there's no reason.
I mean,
You're sitting there with $200 billion in cash earning nothing. When you're Mark Zuckerberg, you go out and you buy.
They've securitized it to bring buybacks and dividends.